Welcome, Reds, to the 100% United podcast. I'm your host, TC, and here's my co-host, Scott. Hello, buddy.
Hello, pal.
On today's jam-packed show, with only 4 days remaining in the transfer window, we look into United's signing of Harry Maguire. We look at the latest surrounding the futures of Paulo Dybala, Mario Manzukic, Bruno Fernandes, David Neres, Christian Eriksen, Paul Pogba and Romelu Lukaku. We look back at our 2-2 draw with AC MIlan in Cardiff and bid farewell to our first ever women's captain. First, Scott, you got your picture of Maguire in a United shirt today. All his brothers and mates joined in too.
Yeah, can't believe how many kits he had. Yeah, I'm really happy with this, pal. You know, I think that at the beginning of the summer, if we had one area we needed to strengthen the most, it was our defence. And now we've got two really good names in there. Let's hope we just crack on from here, pal. Yes,
well, we do need to crack on, mate, because we're on the 5th of August today. The window slams shut on the 8th. So we have 3 days, effectively, to get other transfers over the line. I know we touched on the Maguire transfer on Friday. We knew it was a done deal. We've got a few more details now. So let's just go through then. It's the longest contract ever handed out to a Manchester United player. 6 years plus a 1 year add-on. So it's the longest ever contract. That's quite an endorsement, mate.
Yeah, let's just hope it works out better than the last 7-year contract we handed out.
What you were on, mate, David Moyes?
Yeah.
Yes, so very long contract, of course. Also seems, I know you alluded to it on the Friday pod, that he would be our next number 5. It seems like that's going to be the case too.
Yeah, and it looks like he's been a United fan for a while, judging by his family's testimonials and his family's excitement as well. That was sort of what we were hoping to bring in over someone like Koulibaly or someone like De Ligt even, who might take a bit of time to appreciate the club as much as we would like him to. And now we've sort of got a ready-made United fan in there.
Yes, and his goodbye post to Leicester contained a little picture that endeared himself to United fans even more.
Absolutely,
him
yeah.
Holding him to his waist and just dancing off in Anfield to ruin their title chances last year, mate.
Yeah, you know, we're looking at him bringing a huge threat to attacking set pieces and what have you with that big old head of his, but that goal especially was actually a beautiful little finish and shows he's got a really good touch, so hopefully he'll be able to score in more than just headers.
He does have a great touch, and for such a big guy, he is pretty nimble. Absolutely. I mean, The other thing I've been looking through his stats. I know we touched on a few stats on Friday, and his passing percentage is very high. But also his long passes attempted are higher than other centre-backs too. So normally when you get a player who tries more long passes, say for instance like Pogba in midfield, his pass percentage is obviously going to be lower because he's trying through balls, he's trying long balls. Maguire tries these balls, but his percentage is still up there with the best of them.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's something that we can maybe benefit from, especially from when teams like to sit back against us. It'll give him a bit of space to move forward and start attacks from the defence.
Yes, definitely, mate. And as we said, we did go into Harry Maguire quite deep on Friday. So if you did miss that show, jump back one on your podcast app, or Spotify, iTunes, whatever you listen to it to. And we've got a bit of Harry Maguire stuff on the Friday show. One nice little thing coming out of today was obviously Brendan Rodgers has got his bounty for Harry Maguire, and then he's gone to Bournemouth and tried to snag Nathan Ake, and they've come back and told him he's worth £75 million now.
Incredible, right? Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, absolutely, buddy. Be careful what you wish for, indeed. I mean, once the prices go up, they go up all over the mark, don't they?
Yeah, we've been dealing with that for years, and maybe if they didn't quote us £100 million all summer, then he would have had more time to spend that money and spend it wiser.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And you know, that's actually a good point, Scott. You can hold out for an extra $5 million, but if that $5 million is just going to go into the bank and not be reinvested in the squad, then you wasted your time, really. One thing has come out today is that we apparently were after what we said, really. Maguire, Alderweireld, Koulibaly. We did inquire about Ake as well. But it looks like we went for the guy who's Premier League experienced, he can hit the ground running, and who is 26 and has got years to give us.
Yeah, and the one who wanted to come to United the most,
yeah,
which has to be something, right? Someone who's going to play with the passion that we want and love the club.
Yes, I mean, that is, for me, that's the first box on the list, isn't it? Mm-hmm. That someone has to tick. If they're not interested in playing for United, it's a dead duck anyway, isn't it, really?
It is.
And you think of the club of this size, this stature, this history, this fan base, if you can't be bothered, then neither can we, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, but great news anyway, mate. Over the line, as we suspected. And now we're fighting against the clock now, mate. until Thursday. Sky Sports have come out today. James Cooper, who normally gets briefed by the club directly, has said that it's very unlikely that there'll be any more signings coming into Manchester United. Can I just get your thoughts on that before we go deeper into it?
I have to agree with it, mate. Unfortunately, I think this is it. I think as well the emergence of some of these youngsters coming through on the pre-season tour isn't helping that case. The one name that everyone's looking for is Bruno Fernandes. For the last few weeks, we've heard as soon as he plays the Super Cup on Sunday, he'll be on the first plane to Manchester. Well, now it's Tuesday and he's still in Portugal, so I think that was rubbish as well.
Yes, mate. I hate to say it, buddy, but I do agree with you. I do agree with you. Today, when Maguire went over the line and there was nothing else forthcoming, I was thinking we're running out of time here. I've seen this summer after summer, barring some kind of Falcao-esque option that pops up, which may still be Dybala. We'll touch on that in a minute. Yeah, I can't see much else happening either. Of course, outgoings, we've got a bit more time for that. After the 8th, we can't sell within the UK, but we can sell abroad. The Italian window's open a little bit longer, the Spanish even longer as well, even up to the 2nd of September, sorry. So in terms of outgoings, that's still possible. Romelu Lukaku has trained with Anderlecht today.
Ridiculous.
Which, as he wearing their kit, we're paying his wages today, I presume.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, mate? I turned my stomach to once. I thought it was ridiculous.
I mean, I think that it might just show that Ollie's given him the cold shoulder, especially after divulging that confidential information on the weekend. It might not even be his choice.
Yeah, well, just fill people in who don't know what that is. It was Lukaku leaked a load of sprint results. They weren't actually sprint results. It was the top speed that the person hit within the session.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was back in June. Was it June?
July 10th.
July 10th. There you go. So the top speed in a session, everyone's on a different schedule anyway. So it's nonsense to start with. But of course, he seems to know he's going and seems to be acting like a bit of a prat, mate.
Yeah, it was really stupid. I think that now he's just burning his bridges.
Yes, and as you say, it looks like he's Italy bound. Now, what do you think, mate? There's all the noises have come out now and said that the Dybala deal was off.
Mm-hmm.
Dybala wanted too much cash. That's off. As a result of that, some people are saying the Manzukic deal has gone off with the Dybala deal. Some outlets are saying we're still in for Manzukic. What do you think, buddy? Do you think there is a chance of us still getting Dybala? Look, if Lukaku's going, what's the point of us getting 75 million off Inter now, even if they did pay up?
I'm not sure. I think that they're different questions. I personally don't think Dybala is coming to United at all. I think that we just said that one of the best things about Maguire is the fact that he wanted to come to United so much, even over City.
Yeah.
And to completely turn that on its head, Dybala is a player who, judging by his wage demand, his agent demands, didn't put the club first, is putting himself first and isn't showing during the talks that he really wanted to come to United. And, it's a real big shame, but I'm just glad we're sort of catching these things before it's too late now. And the last thing we want is a player in there on enormous wages who doesn't want to be at the club, isn't going to give his all. And I'm just sort of glad that we are standing up to this before we allow that to happen.
And do you think that the Manzukic deal goes down with the Dybala deal?
It might do, but it'll be worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
It is a shame.
It is indeed. I mean, if Lukaku is going, mate, although, all our strikers scored about sort of 10, 13 goals last season, didn't they? It was awful outlay. But Lukaku's one of them. And that is sort of 15 goals gone from the game, from the squad, sorry. Can we afford to let Lukaku go and not replace him? I don't think we can.
I don't think we can, but I don't think we can guarantee him as many games as he had last year, especially with the attitude that he's putting forward.
Yeah, I guess my question more is, why haven't we replaced Lukaku when we're obviously going to sell him? I guess that's more my question, because, we went from saying we'd get a winger, we'd get a striker to replace Lukaku if Lukaku left. That's what Ollie was saying, right? He said, we're going to sign 4 or 5 players, and if there's outgoings, then we'll replace them too. At the moment, we're on 3, one of which is Daniel James, which they've said is a development signing. So at the moment, we've signed effectively 2 first-teamers to add to our squad, and Lukaku potentially will go. and we won't replace him. I think it's a dangerous move.
I think we already have his replacement in Mason Greenwood. I think that for the last 6 months, we've heard about how Greenwood deserves a chance and he's a wonder kid and this and that. And I honestly think that he is the ready-made replacement for Romelu Lukaku.
As good as Greenwood is, mate, he's 17 years old. I mean, we can't be replacing a £75 million striker with a 17-year-old novice. I mean, that's crazy stuff, mate. Look, if we were replacing someone on the periphery with Mason Greenwood, I'd be fine with that. No worries whatsoever. But we signed Lukaku to lead the line for United. We signed Lukaku to dominate for United. If he's going to go and then we're going to just shove everyone up the order and put Greenwood in at the bottom, look, I'm not digging Greenwood out. I blooming love him. But this is not the way to get back in the top four, back challenging for the title, mate.
Yeah, but, Lukaku was the main striker under Mourinho, and as soon as Solskjaer came in, I know he played quite a few games for him and he scored some really important goals at the end of last season, but he's definitely not our main striker. He's definitely not the number 1, number 9 in there.
No.
If anything, he was playing a bit part role that I think that Greenwood's going to move into.
Yeah. It's worrying stuff for me, mate, I must say, because look, on Friday when we were talking about Harry Maguire, I was hoping that by this time on Monday, we would have other deals lined up. Now we're hearing Dybala off, Bruno Fernandes off, no more signings. I mean, that's not the weekend I was looking forward to, mate.
Yeah, me neither. Which is why, you asked me my team for Sunday, and I was putting Jesse Lingard in there because I don't think that we've had all this time to put deals in place that the next 3 days, Woodward's not going to be able to pull his fingers out that quickly, mate. No chance.
Well, as I say, I believe it's going to be a Falcao type again, where we don't know where it's coming from, and we'll jump on it, we'll grab it, we'll say it's brilliant because it's the only thing we can do. And then just hope and pray we have a miracle start to the season. Look, I'm always positive, you know that, buddy. I'm always looking at how we can improve, how we can go from here. But really, with this window, it's like if we get to the end of it like this, we're going to once again be just being mad positive guys. Like just trying to find every positive we possibly can when the logic is we're not setting ourselves up for a good season here.
Yeah, but I think if you look at the end of last season, going into the summer, we wanted to strengthen 4 positions. We wanted to get a new right back, a new centre back, a new right winger, and a new central midfielder. I think that we've definitely got the new right back, and I definitely got a new centre back. We do have a new body in Daniel James out there on the wing that's going to bring some speed. Fine, he's not going to be the world class talent that we were all hoping for. And the central midfield is a big issue now, and I think that keeping Paul Pogba maybe fixes that a little bit, because I think that a lot of us thought we were getting rid of Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
But I think that if we can keep him, it's actually not as bad as we think it's going to be. An annoying thing as well is we had this figure, 200 million, maybe even 250 million that we were going to spend, and we've spent, 120, 130? So it's not quite that, and there was still a huge chunk of change that we hoped we had earmarked for a central midfielder. I don't see it happening, mate.
And what if we sell Lukaku and then you deduct £75 million off the figure you just gave me?
Yeah.
And we're spending as much as Norwich and the rest of them.
Everton.
Aston Villa spent 100 million, haven't they?
Yeah.
Honestly, mate, it's crazy stuff.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think if that does happen, then it's actually going to reflect pretty well on Woodward with the owners. And that's something that we don't want to happen either.
Yes, mate. I mean, it's a difficult time because if Ollie isn't backed, then how can we judge Ollie? How do we know if Ollie is right for the club or not? If he's not backed, I mean, look at the end of last season. You just touched on it there. You just reminded me how bloody awful it was. I mean, remember on the podcast, mate, we were, oh God, it was a nightmare, a Groundhog Day every bloody week, talking about how rubbish the performances were, how no one was given 100%, how these guys don't give a toss about the club. And now we've had a summer to chill out and we're all relaxed about it. And we're thinking, oh, it might be all right, it might be all right. But the truth is, we're stuck with the same team, almost.
Yeah.
We were meant to be selling Deadwood. And the 2 players who are being rumoured to leave are our 2 record signings, Paul Pogba and Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah, that is crazy. We got 7 centre-backs. Yeah.
And what's going to happen is we're going to go off the end of our transfer window. We'll go into everyone else's transfer window, which will still be open. And we maybe will get rid of some of the Deadwood then. But it'll be too late, won't it, mate? It'll be Marcus Rojo probably, and that's it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's not good signs. Look, another name that's popped up, mate, is Christian Eriksen. AS have said in Spain today that he's seriously considering the United bid, which is imminent. But of course it's imminent. We've got 2 days to go.
Everything's been imminent. The amount of times you read
Yeah.
set to sign or we're looking into this, looking into that. I don't know how many medicals Bruno Fernandes has had this summer, but I'm counting 5 or 6, mate.
Well, I think we've announced 5 or 6, haven't we? Look, the Eriksen things are interesting. Apparently, it's £60 million if we want him, and then after the window's shut, they will allow the continent's clubs to feast on him for £46 million. That's fair enough, no problems. I don't have a problem with that. £60 million, it wouldn't be a bad backup option, mate. Really,
Mate, he would walk into our team.
Of course he
He's a
would.
world class talent. Yeah, I would. I'd get this over the line quicker than usual because, again, this is a Premiership proven talent. Someone who understands the country, understands the culture, and I think we all had that position earmarked for Bruno Fernandes, but
yeah.
I just don't think it's going to happen, mate. And we've got to move on now because we've only got a few days.
But then the only worry I've got with that, mate, and I do agree with you. Yeah, let's hit the button on it. If Spurs want £60 million for Eriksen, then I mean isn't that we're meant to be putting up for Fernandes, and we won't put it up.
Yeah, that is true, and I think it might just be lining their pockets to go and buy him themselves.
Yeah, that's another very, very big possibility. A very big possibility indeed. Look, mate, as I say, the clock's ticking now. It's gonna be two days to go in a couple of hours. So we really need to pull our fingers out here. Eriksen is an option. It's on the table. The Sergej Milinkovic-Savic rumours, as we said last time in the pod, mate, they went cold when the Pogba rumours went cold.
Yeah, I think those two sort of set each other up. I think if we were to lose Paul Pogba, we would look into Savic, but given that we can't get a good offer for Pogba, he's not going anywhere, mate.
Yeah, so last night on Spanish TV, they were going mad over Pogba. They really like to go deep into things, and they were really talking about all the possibilities with Pogba. And it really did just come back to the fact that Madrid don't have the cash to meet what we want to sell him for. As simple as that.
Which is crazy because they have had it this summer. They've spent 400 million euros. And if he really was their top priority, why didn't they buy him first?
Yeah, again, as we said on the last pod, mate, it's a big political battle starting with Zinedine Zidane now in Real Madrid, which is bonkers because they brought him back. They begged him to come back.
Yeah.
And didn't we say at the time, we said that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's just such a bad idea for Zidane and for Real Madrid. It was so obvious at the time. And now he's gone back. They say never go back, don't they, buddy?
What are your thoughts that he's going to last until Christmas?
Well,
you think he'll still be Real Madrid manager on Christmas?
Like I said, buddy, about Jose Mourinho taking over before long, I read something today saying that, Zidane could be gone within weeks over here.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, yeah.
Either he'll walk or they'll bin him, one or the other. I would have thought, look, I think their window shuts on the 2nd of September. So they've got another, 3-4 weeks. And I presume the proverbial will hit the fan when that window shuts, I would suspect with that. Look, he won 3 Champions League in 4 years, didn't he?
Yeah.
Zidane. So it's kind of like he's coming in off the back of that. But anyone outside that club knows he's not going to do that again. It's just not going to happen. And so while he was gone, Ronaldo's gone now as well. It's a different story, mate. It's a different story. And I would suggest that their reluctance to chase Pogba hard was a bit of a sort of, a bit of a political jousting move with Zidane, I think.
Yeah, I just hope that Paul Pogba thinks like that as well and thinks that if they really did want me, why wouldn't they have bid for me earlier and not bidding 27 million on James Rodriguez, which is just derisory.
Well, it is very interesting, the silence. Look, he didn't travel to Cardiff, did he? We said these few days are going to be critical. He didn't travel to Cardiff. He said he had a back spasm. Now, Ollie said it wasn't an injury; he was just in a bit of pain. I didn't quite like the tone that Ollie gave. It seemed to allude to that there was something weird going on. He hasn't obviously played in that one. It's crunch time, isn't it, mate? It really is crunch time now. If Madrid want to do anything, they really have to do it now. Can you see anything at all happening there, or do you really think it's just gone quiet?
I think we're going to keep him. I think that him or Raiola would have come out in the last couple of days and said something negative about the position he's in order to speeden up something. And to be honest, given that hasn't happened, I see him staying at United, at least for another season.
Yes. Now, Real Madrid did apparently make a bid for Pogba already, if you want to call it a bid. James Rodriguez plus £27 million for Paul Pogba. What do you make of that, bud?
It's ridiculous. Derisory.
It is derisory, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, what would you rate James Rodriguez as a player? Look, because the thing is, mate, this is one thing I've noticed. When players are persona non grata, surplus to requirements at another club, say for instance, like Dybala, we still have to pay top whack for everything.
Yeah.
But then when someone's persona non grata at our club, we have to give them away and pay half their wages.
It's insane, right?
It really is,
insane,
mate.
yeah.
It really is. It's like, I don't get it. I just don't get how it works.
Yeah.
But how much is he worth? James Rodriguez?
40 million, maybe tops.
Yeah, tops, I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon. Look, he hasn't played for Madrid in a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And he's inconsistent at best. Yeah. I mean, 40 plus 27, 67 million for Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
You can double that.
I was wondering if they'd forgotten to add another player or forgotten to add a 1 to that 27 and made it 127. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah.
So, bizarre stuff there, mate. Yeah, I think the Zidane-Real falling out has helped keep Pogba here. But, mate, can we just look back now at when Pogba said in Japan that he wanted out? He wanted out of the club. And we wanted him out too, didn't we, that day?
Yeah.
We really, really, really wanted him out. And, again, like I've said, the end of last season, we were down in the dumps. And after a summer, we sort of chilled out a little bit. But the same problems remain, and the same problems remain with Pogba. He still said that he wants to leave, he wants a new challenge. His agent still came out and doubled down. And although we think now we're keeping this player who can do these beautiful little threaded passes through, score 1 million penalties a season, is it still a good idea? Because I kind of think all the problems that we had at the end of last season, we are all covering our eyes, and the club's covering our eyes. And at the start of the season, we're going to be blinded by what we see when we take our hands away.
Yeah, you might be right. I think he was definitely the catalyst to things turning a bit sour at the end of last year. But, until we replace him, he is still our most talented midfielder. And I just think that...
And by far.
I just think that we don't have his replacement. We don't have anything close to it. So I think that we're not really in a position that we can let him go, as hard as it is to accept.
Yeah, no, I do agree now. I do agree. I don't think we can allow him to go, but I think we should have done something different. I think we should have put together a different plan, personally. One other name that popped up today from Brazil, Yahoo Esportes, David Neres of Ajax, only 20 years old, winger, 50 million euros, 46 million pounds. What do you make of that, mate?
From what I saw him playing at Ajax last year, he was fantastic and sort of exactly what we would want.
He was.
Listen, we've been linked to almost 100 players this summer. I think this is just another name coming up. I think, before Thursday, we're probably going to hear a couple of other names that haven't been brought up yet.
Yeah, I would steer clear of this, really. I think we've got lots of young, dynamic, hungry, wide players.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to necessarily go... We either need to sign someone who's ready-made or a hitman up front. I don't think we need another wide man who's a bit wet behind the ears, personally.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'd be happy with seeing Tahith Chong playing a couple more games, or Angel Gomez playing a couple more games than bringing someone else in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only other winger that we could possibly try and grab in is obviously up for sale is Gareth Bale.
Oh my God, mate! I thought you were finished with this. Come on,
mate. At this stage, I probably would take him now. I reckon. What do you reckon?
Never going to happen, mate. Never going to happen.
I was just winding you up. Buddy.
I'm kind of enjoying watching the whole fallout at Real Madrid, and he's the centre of that. So I think he should stay there.
It is a bit of fun, mate, I must say. Yeah. A right old mess over there. It is good to see. So look, mate, 3 days to go. We need to pull out a blooming miracle here and get some things over the line, see what happens.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, you say that, I'm actually not so disappointed about this summer. I think we've got in a fantastic centre-back. We got in one of the best right-backs I've ever seen. We've got in a little bit of pace on the wings that we wanted. And we're looking to promote some of these talents that we've had in our academy for years. I think Angel Gomez has been brilliant over the pre-season. I think Tahith Chong as well. Filling the squad with players who want to be there and not just players who, on paper, look like they deserve a place in there is better than we think.
Yes, mate, and I do agree with that. And you know me, I will, when the season starts, I will have full hope that we're going to win the title. I always start from that, and then we'll go down from there as the different targets disappear. But I would obviously be hoping for an absolute miracle. But like I said earlier, mate, you can set yourself up for a miracle, or you can just do what you're doing now and hope for a miracle. And I think we could have set ourselves up a little bit better for a miracle. But I am with you, mate. I'm going to support the youngsters. And who knows, mate, we've got 3 days to go. And we do have Harry Maguire. We do have Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We do have Daniel James. And we've probably got David De Gea staying on as well. Yeah. So there are plus points.
And Paul Pogba.
Possibly. We'll hang far on that, eh? So, look, Let's get stuck into the game in Cardiff on Saturday.
Yep.
United AC Milan 2-2. United triumphed on penalties. Paul Pogba missed the game, as we said earlier, with a supposed back spasm. So we lined up with David De Gea wearing his new lime green goalie shirt, Scott.
Incredible. Oh, my goodness me.
Do you like that?
Oh, I loved it. What did you think?
I thought you blooming did. I thought it was gorgeous as well, right? Back to the old days.
Yeah, just don't get too attached because it's not going to be available for us to buy.
Oh, what? You don't think it'll be on the Mega Store again?
I'll be shocked if it is.
I'll find it for you, buddy. Don't you worry. So, David De Gea in goal. We had Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the right. We had Victor Lindelof and Marcos Rojo again starting the centre. Luke Shaw on the left. Matic and McTominay in the middle. Mata behind Martial with Pereira on the right. Rashford on the left. So, a relatively strong lineup, buddy.
Yeah.
I thought we were a bit flat overall, to be honest with you, compared to, unfortunately, the pre-season's kind of got off to a cracking start, and then we've kind of reverted a little bit back to type in terms of not creating so many chances and not looking so cohesive.
Yeah, you might be right. We did seem a little bit off the pace. I think that, if anything, Rojo was there because, as you were saying last time, Lindelof prefers to play on the right. And I think Rojo is probably the best left-sided centre-back we had. So
Spot on.
it was sort of just mimicking what Maguire will bring.
That's exactly my takeaway from that decision, mate. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Pereira on the right I actually quite liked him on the right. I thought he was able to pick out some good crosses here and there. I think the glaring thing to take away from the first half, mate, was how many times Nemanja Matic gave the ball away.
Yeah.
Not just for their goal, but he was just cheaply giving it away everywhere.
Yeah.
He does really well. He wins the ball a lot, but then he gives it straight away. It's hard to comprehend.
It is. He also set up Rashford for his goal, though, didn't he? I mean, I say set up. He passed it to him, and then Rashford beat 3 men.
Yeah.
Back when I was growing up, that wouldn't have been an assist.
No.
But these days, you just have to pass it to the guy, and it's an assist, isn't it? But what I would say is that if we are going to have strikers playing in wide positions, which we do, if we've got a winger playing in wide positions, I want him to vary his game up, whip crosses in, etc., etc. But what I don't want is a striker playing in a wide position and basically mimicking what a winger would do and just having a worse output, worse crosses, worse skinnings of his man. That's exactly what I want to see from a striker playing on the left, what Rashford did there. Get on the ball, take them on Henry style, and get a bit of luck with a deflection. But he earned it after beating 2.5 men, I suppose.
Yeah, I think he linked up well with Luke Shaw as well. I think he is going to be our first choice left winger. And Martial's going to play through the middle much more.
I think Rashford is better on the left anyway, really, than he is in the middle. Mm-hmm. I really do. I know there was this big PR offensive from the British press to try and get Rashford playing number 9, and then he did, and then they forgot about it when he stopped scoring. But look, I like Rashford as number 9 too, but I think he is better coming in from wide, personally. I prefer it.
Yeah, I do too. And it keeps Martial a bit more, his brain a bit more occupied when he's playing through the middle and pressing from the top.
It does. I think Martial's a much better number 9. I do. I know he's magic taking on men, but you don't want Martial taking people on the halfway line like he's been doing for the last 3 years. He gets the ball on the halfway line, he skins one man fantastically, great, and then he's got a few more. And look, at Fulham, we'll go all the way, but he's not going to go all the way every week.
No.
So it's much better having him taking on these people and making the runs in behind, right on the last man, right on the edge of the box.
Yeah, it's probably easier to get around a centre-back than it is a full-back, so we should use that skill he has in a different position and taking on centre-backs.
Yeah. So we went one up, mate, 14th minute. They didn't take too long to equalise. 22nd minute, Suso with a big bender, beating De Gea from the edge of the box. What do you think of that, mate? Was De Gea to blame at all there?
I don't know. It's the one thing I took away from that was how he got the ball, and Matic gave it away just inexplicably, and then sort of ran around without knowing what to do. De Gea might have been able to get it on a better day, but I wouldn't have put the blame on him. No,
I don't blame De Gea for that one. I think when you're bending it outside the post and back in, it gives you a lot more angle to beat the keeper. And I don't think De Gea, I think it was just that old De Gea standards thing, that we have his standards so high that when he drops below them even a little bit, we all lose our blooming pants again. Yeah. They took the lead, Castillejo or a Lindelof own goal, depending on which way you viewed it. technically it was a Lindelof own goal. The header was going wide.
Yeah.
Suso skinned Martial out wide. Should Martial have been a bit tighter to him? He didn't seem loose. But
there was just no closing down in all of it, mate. It seemed like they just walked it in. And I don't know if that's just pre-season or if it's just, I know we brought on Axel, we brought on Ashley Young, Fred in the midfield, and they maybe just didn't seem up to the pace of the game already, but there was no defence, mate, at all.
No, there wasn't. But don't worry, we've got Harry Maguire coming in this week, big boy. We will be all right. We had Pepe Reina come on. He was booed on by the Cardiff crowd, which was nice.
Yeah.
Jesse Lingard, as you said, was on. Very, very direct and superb left-footed finish for his goal past Reina. Do you enjoy that, buddy?
I did. I think this is going to be a massive season for Jesse. He scored 13 goals the season before last, and he scored 4 or 5 last year.
Yes.
I think this is a big season. I think a few weeks ago, after that Instagram post, a lot of fans wanted him out, and this is his chance to really shine and put the wrong things right.
Yeah, it is a massive, massive season for Lingard. I'd say it's make or break, mate. Really.
Yeah.
And I think, we can go too overboard on criticising people. Like we've mentioned before, if there were phone cameras in the 80s and 90s, Roy Keane and Brian Robson probably wouldn't have lasted, 6 months at the club.
No chance.
Realistically.
No chance, yeah.
So, we know, and we like a bad boy. We like someone who will break the rules. Look, Lingard, all he's done is he's filmed his mate pretending to shag a pillow. It's not the end of the world, is it, really? And if it was another club, it wouldn't even make the papers. No one would talk about it.
Yeah.
As I mentioned to you the other week, mate, there was, after the World Cup, when England won the Cricket World Cup, Jofra Archer was off in the Caribbean simulating sex with a woman. And the newspapers were saying, the hijinks, look at him celebrating the World Cup win, isn't this fantastic?
Yeah.
And I was thinking, hang about, you're the same blooming publication who 3 weeks ago were criticising someone who wasn't even doing it. He was videoing his mate doing it, who doesn't play for United.
Yeah.
It's just madness, mate, really. So, look, if he can perform on the pitch, then he can beans, and blooming do all his dances as much as he wants. But it is make or break. He's got to do it this year, mate. He really does.
He does, yeah.
Went to a penalty shootout, mate, 2-2. The nice takeaway from this, normally in pre-season, you'd be like penalty shootout, who cares? We got Pepe Reina in goal, who's a bit of a penalty expert. And we had Greenwood dispatched with consummate ease. Angel Gomez. I mean, what a penalty with that.
Unbelievable.
You're having a laugh.
Outrageous, yeah.
I mean, literally just fired it into the top corner.
Yeah. Ashley Young's was pretty good as well. I think that a lot of fans probably held their breath when they saw Ashley Young walking forward, and he just smashed it in the roof of the net. What are you worried about?
And then Danny James, back in his homeland, land of my fathers, bashed it down the middle. Nice moment for him as well, mate. I'm sure his family was there and whatnot.
It showed a good squad spirit as well, the way he was congratulated for the penalty. I really liked that. Yeah,
it was cool, wasn't it? It was very cool.
Yeah.
And David De Gea saving from Maldini.
Yeah.
Another in the long lineage of AC Milan and Maldini's. That's incredible, mate, isn't it? I mean, his dad, his granddad, Paulo, and now his son too.
Yeah.
Fergie tried to get Maldini from AC Milan. And they just said, there's just no chance, mate. My granddad played.
Yeah, I think AC Milan tried to sign Ryan Giggs as well, didn't they? I think they had as much chance of getting him as we did getting Maldini.
And Inter Milan, Paul Scholes.
Yeah, blank check.
And what did Scholesy say to Massimiliano?
He said, if you want me to play for you, you're going to have to buy Manchester United.
Yes, that's exactly what he said. You'll have to buy United. Good old Scholesy, mate.
Yeah.
So, look, I thought we were a bit flat. But it's pre-season, and on the one hand, we can't get too excited when we win 4-0. We can't get too down when we drew 2-2 with AC Milan. But one thing I did mention to you, mate, this is not AC Milan of the 90s and the early 2000s. This is an AC Milan team that aren't very good. Look, there's two ways to look at it. I didn't think it was a disaster, but we definitely need to inject some energy into that side because we are slipping a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I think we just need a bit more urgency. I think no matter what, if it's 4 weeks before the beginning of the season or 7 days, as this one was, pre-season friendlies aren't played at full tilt. I think especially
they're not.
The closer you get to the start of the season, the more you sort of want to ease off and make sure you're 100% fit and don't get injured in the last one. So I think it will be a different animal on Sunday, pal. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, we will. And you know what? The signing of Maguire, before we clock off, it's not just going to give us defensive stability. It's going to give us that aerial threat going forward and that aerial stability at the back. But it's also going to be, Maguire's going to be giving the ball to people in the right positions, giving it to them at the right speed of pass. Maybe giving Matic a little bit more time on the ball, giving our wingers a bit more time on the ball. offering Rashford that option over the top. So he's not just going to add in terms of defence. Hopefully, he'll be a positive influence in terms of our possession play as well.
For sure. And give everyone the chance to have a bit more confidence in their defence and be able to go forward a bit more, especially the central midfielders. I thought McTominay was great again on Saturday. I really did. I think
me too.
If we can sort of unlock his ability to go forward as well, and Pogba's, then that's also a plus that he's going to bring, right?
Yes, mate. Yeah, mate. I'm sorry, I've been a bit negative today. I'm just very, very worried, pal, with a couple of days to go. I was really hoping that we'd get Bruno and Dybala in and really blooming grab this transfer window by the scruff of the neck and propel us into the season. I'm just a little bit worried, mate. I'm delighted with Maguire, don't get me wrong. Delighted with Wan-Bissaka. I love the look of Danny James too. I'm glad about the players we've retained. I just feel that, mate, we're on the brink of doing something good, and I just wish we'd just push it over the line and just fire ourselves into this blooming season.
Yeah, but I think you've got to look at it from another point of view as well. And you've got to be quite relieved that we are not just allowing players in to come in and collect paychecks and only want to bring people in who A, want to be there, B, can make a difference, and C, have the right attitude. I think that bringing in Di Maria, bringing in Falcao with big names, massive contracts, and players should just paper over cracks. And I think that looking at the bigger picture is much more important. And we don't want people in there who are just there to make up the numbers,
You're right, mate. You are right. But you also, on the other hand, you don't want to miss out on a Zlatan. You don't want to say, look, no, too much wages, you're too old, you're coming for a payday, we're not interested. When actually what you get from a player like Zlatan is world-class performances and world-class attitude in the dressing room as well. Look, I get your point totally. I agree with you. But at the same time, on the one hand, there's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And on the other hand, there's whatever the opposite is to that, whatever, when you think something might be bad, but actually it turns out to be golden. The Holy Grail, maybe.
Yeah, but I think if you look at Zlatan's stats before he moved to United, he'd scored 25 goals a season for the past 5 or 6 years and was bringing in a huge goal-scoring pedigree. If you look at Dybala's stats last year, in fact, Romelu Lukaku scored more goals than him.
Yeah.
It's not as though we're bringing in someone who can guarantee us 30, 40 goals.
Yeah, I know. But then on the other hand, I could fire back at you and say, look at Sanchez's stats before he came to United.
Yeah.
And we thought we were getting another Zlatan, But what I will say, mate, it really does come down so much to attitude. You look at Sanchez at Arsenal, and I could have said to you, if you had said to me, look, tell me, TC, do you reckon Sanchez's head is properly screwed on? I would have said no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it is. When he was at Arsenal, when he signed for United, I was just hoping that he wasn't as much of a crackpot that I thought he was at Arsenal. But he evidently is. If you had asked me, is Zlatan a waste of space? Is Zlatan? I'd say no. Zlatan's mad, but he's a good kind of mad. He's not going to let United down. He's got that thing. He's just got it. Di Maria, if you'd asked me, I would have said, yeah, maybe, his head's probably a bit all over the place. So when these players are coming in, it is quite obvious who is going to be one of the players who's sort of got a good attitude and who doesn't. And maybe if I had to guess with Dybala, I probably would agree with you and put him in the bad category.
Yeah, I think long term he wasn't the best fit for us, and I think Ollie's looking at the long term instead of the short term that maybe Jose was.
Yeah, but at the same time, the short term is as good as the long term, because if you can win the title this season, it's as good as winning the title in 5 years' time. And you haven't wasted 5 years. So
of course it is.
There's always a balance to be had. And if Ollie wants to get Manzukic, then I'll support that, because I do think that will actually be a good signing. With the stable of strikers we've got, I think adding Manzukic to that would actually be a plus point.
Yeah, I think one of the benefits of this Dybala deal was the fact that we were maybe getting rid of Lukaku and getting a good deal for once out of a blue moon.
Yeah.
And I think that not being able to get rid of Lukaku hurts just as much as not getting Dybala. But it is what it is. We've just got to carry on with it, mate.
Definitely, pal. Everything will be clear by the time we're on the next pod anyway, won't it, buddy? As I say, today we're a bit nervous, to say the least. It's getting to crunch time now, so we will know after the transfer window anyway. Fingers crossed, buddy. Hopefully we can grab one or two more, but it isn't looking likely right now. Anyway, Reds, we'll hang fire. Remember to subscribe to the 100% United pod on iTunes, Spotify, or any of their podcast apps. Follow us at United 100 Podcast on Instagram too. We'll be back after the UK transfer window slams shut. Fingers crossed for a couple of miracles. Thanks for joining me again, Scott.
Thank you, pal.
Thanks for listening again, Reds. Cheerio.
Ta-ra.